wanted to run through the cutting and assembly of the scroll easel card. And this card has a couple of features that I'm going to show you as well. So you will see that there is some patterned paper that has been added to this. And how I did this is I uploaded a photo of one of my favorite patterned papers, and then I cut the shape out of that patterned paper. And I will do a separate video showing you how to do that. I also cleaned up an image that I uploaded to create this floral embellishment. So when you open the file, you will have all of these pieces except the floral. It will show you just a solid, and from there you will be able to cut it out of your favorite patterned papers to get basically the same effect. So these are going to today show you how to do a print then cut, and then the rest of the pieces are here for the card, the easel, and your envelope. So when we have this on our screen, I know that it's the size I want. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click Make It. On this screen, the first one we have is our print then cut, and that will be printed. Today I'm going to use a sticker paper for this, and that will make it easy to adhere it to the cardstock where I need it. You can also cut it, of course, out of cardstock and utilize it that way. Now this second and third piece are being cut out of white or the same color, and they're showing here on separate mats. I know they're going to fit on one mat, and for whatever reason, Cricut has decided to separate it. So I'm going to click on the image on the second page, and I'm going to go to the three little dots up in the corner, and I'm going to click Move to Another Mat. So then the mat that is current is kind of grayed out, and you have your selections of all the other mats as well as a new mat. Well, I'm going to move it to mat 2, my other white one, and I'm going to click Confirm. So now it has placed it in that upper left-hand corner. I'm going to grab a hold of it, and I'm going to drag it down to the lower right-hand corner. And you can see they fit without any problem. And I will tell you, sometimes you have to rotate an item, but always look through your map previews, because you will often find this same type of a situation where it is showing that it will not fit. Now I'll tell you a little bit of why. This piece is a 6 by 6 at the very outer measurements. This piece also is 6 by 6 at its very outer measurements. Therefore, technically, it cannot fit. But because it is not a full square, which is actually how Cricut is measuring it, they will fit on the same page. So you will find, again, when you have different shapes, that is often going to be the case. The other case is if you need to rotate a piece to get it to fit on one mat. You'll see that often as well. So then as we continue through the mats, we have this light pink with a happy birthday sentiment on it. And then we have this last mat in a darker pink with the inside sentiment on it. And then it's going to cut here. And this is actually going to be the frame for the top layer. So we have all of our layers in place. So I'm going to hit cancel because I use a lot of floral embellishments on my cards, and I have all of this space right here that has nothing in it. So I'm going to cancel, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this little floral embellishment, and I am going to duplicate that a few times. I'm going to click Make It again, and now you'll see they will all fit on that same print and cut mat. Now, unfortunately, I do need to go back, and I got to move this guy back to that second mat and pop him in place there. And then I think everything else looks good. Now, you know, to avoid the wear and tear on your mats, since we are cutting this one in the upper left and lower right, I can always take this one and slide it over here so it cuts in a different place on my mat. And then again, same thing with the dark one, I can slide it down here so that we're using different areas of the mat, because you will find that your mat gets less sticky in the areas that you use it so frequently. So we have that all done. I have my print and cut set up, and I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now I'm going to send this to my printer, and that is set up correctly, and I do want to leave the bleed on in this instant, so I'm going to click print, and that is going ahead and it is preparing it for print, and then it's going to send it to my printer. And this does have that maximum size that you can print. So even on the screen it shows a 12 by 12, but it's not. So here it says printing in progress. The images have been sent to the printer. I'm going to go ahead and select my device. Now I have both my Air and my Maker connected. I'm going to select the Maker. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this to light cardstock. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to cut that on sticker paper. So I am going to change that. And I am going to go back and browse materials. I'm going to type in sticker. And I'm going to hit sticker paper, and I'm going to click done. And then I will go ahead and cut out all these pieces, and I will be back with you. Here you will see that I have loaded the printout on the sticker paper into the Maker, and it is currently scanning for the registration marks, that black box around it. Then it went ahead and it checked that I have the right blade in, and now it is proceeding to go ahead and cut out the printed designs that I have. And so there it is, cutting the second, which is the lower portion of the card. And then it will move on and cut the little floral embellishments. So now that we have everything cut out and ready to go, let's assemble this scroll card, easel card, and envelope. First thing I'm going to do is the envelope, and it is all scored. I did use the Maker, so we used the scoring wheel for this. And I'm going to go ahead and get everything folded in so that we can assemble this envelope. Now I usually do use a, well, it's called a bone folder, but this is actually from the original Cricut toolkit many years ago, and it has a nice metal edge on it, and it gives me a good fold. So that is done. Now I also have this piece, which is for the envelope flap, and I'm going to go ahead and get that folded. And then remember, we cut out of the pattern design, and I did this on sticker paper. So I have this, which will make my life a whole lot easier being on sticker paper, and I'm just going to line that there. And the paper that I bought, I actually got it on Amazon, and it says Pro Office on the back. It is a full sheet of sticker paper, and then it has that crack down the center, so when I cut it, usually there will be that perforation or that crack to allow me to separate the back quite easily. So then I'm going to attach this portion to my envelope, and I will position those edges with it folded nice and tight to the edge and lined up inside of the tabs. Now we'll go ahead and put some adhesive on the back flap of the envelope, fold the two side flaps in, and then press this up. And that completes our envelope. Now I do use double face tape for the back of my envelopes. And so I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces here so that when it comes time to mail this, I can go ahead and just peel the backing off this double face tape and stick it down. And then I thought, just for something a little extra on the front of that envelope, since I cut a bunch of these little guys out, I would go ahead and adhere one of my little rose stickers down at the bottom. So that finishes the envelope. Now we'll start with the card. So the front of the card is this piece with the sentiment. Then we have the floral piece that we printed and cut. And then we have a frame which cut in two pieces. So we have the frame outside, and then we have the inside, which will become our inside liner and sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, I forgot I did this on sticker paper, same thing here. I can just go ahead and make this quite easy by aligning it with the edges and get it on there. Thankfully, I have a frame, so it's going to make up for where I just stuck that down a little bit off. But it happens to all of us. And I'm going to turn this over. And right here, because I did make it off just a smidgen, I've got some of that front that is overhanging. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim close right along that edge so that I have a nice edge and I don't have any of that top layer sticking off there. So there is that. And then I'm going to adhere the frame. Now with the frame, I'm using a Zig glue pen. I do like this. It is repositionable and it does hold fairly secure. I like to use this on smaller pieces like this because it does adhere well and it allows me to get the adhesive where I need it. And it's, I think they call it a two-way, yeah, two-way glue. So while it's wet, it adheres, I guess it's permanent, and then it's repositionable once it's dried. So once I get it all on, I just go back and I dab in a few spots and make sure that I have some everywhere. And now I'm going to go ahead and try very carefully to lay this on and get it perfectly lined up. This is a very light cardstock, and so it is not holding its shape. It's a printed, basically it's a printed paper, and so it's not holding the shape as well as I might have liked, but we will go ahead and get this on here. And not sure where I picked that up from. Let's go ahead and position this down all the way around. And as I said, thankfully it is repositionable because it's not cooperating. And you know, there are days where this goes so smoothly, but of course it's not a day that I'm doing a video of the process. So the nice thing is you see that it's never perfect for It's not always perfect no matter what or who is doing it. So just gonna work that around, and there we go. So now we have the front of the card created. No, I don't love it, but the process is done. There we go. And sincerely, what I would do in this case, again, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim real close there to fix where I fudged it just a little bit, and there. Now, so now we have the front of the card complete. Now the inside sentiment is going to go on here. And yep, I just ran out of tape too, so that's always fun. Let's get this on here then. So we're going to position this in the center so we have a nice white border around the outside edges. And then, because I ran out of glue or tape in my tape runner, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add some adhesive here in the corners. And this zig, I really do love the zig because it works so well. So there we are. There is that. And then I had a couple of things I need to do inside, but I'll do those after. We have our easel piece. And this is the part that's going to attach the front to the back, like on this card. So we do have to do 2 folds. We're going to do the first fold, which will adhere here. And then we have our second fold, which we're going to fold down. So we have a mountain and a valley. And then this will attach right here. And then it will attach to our card. So we are going to put some adhesive down just above that fold, and then we are going to line it up with the base layer and press down. Now we are going to take below the fold and we are going to apply some more adhesive down here. And then we are going to align the top of our card up with the base, and we're going to press down. And now when we open that card, we have our easel. So then we need to put our stop in place. And so I have this little heart shape that I'm going to put down here. And I thought I would use a little foam adhesive on that to raise it up just a smidge. And we'll go ahead and set him in place right about there. And I think I'm going to add maybe a couple of roses or some other embellishments. I did want to put a rose inside, so this is another one of my sticker roses. And this one doesn't have that little perforation on it, so we're just going to have to get a hold of it at the edge and peel that backing off there like so. And we will put that here. And then I think here along this, I'm going to decide if I want to do maybe some pretty pink ribbon or just a row of pearls. And I think I'm going to do the row of pearls. I'm going to do some white pearls. And I'm just going to try to space these evenly across the front of this card. Yep, back here, yep.
there. So there we go. We have assembled our card. It stands up as a nice easel, and it will lay flat to go inside of our envelope, so we don't incur any additional postage on that. And then when the recipient receives it, it's in a beautiful envelope. When they take it out, they will open it and then realize that this will stand up to display beautifully for them. So I hope